Hello, my name is Susan Fullmer and I'm a healer and a teacher. And today we're going to talk about the first chakra. I just did an overall introduction to chakras in general. I'll put a link to that at the bottom of this video. And I'm going to do one video for each chakra so that we can go deep. So I'm going to do some basic information and then we're going to do a meditation which will allow us to go to our chakra and glean some information that is found there. Each chakra is like a database and it contains all the stuff that's happened in our lifetime and even prior to this lifetime. And so it is a treasure trove of information for us as we're trying to figure out what's going on with me and why do I do the things I do and why can't I seem to get over certain glitches in my life and so on. So when we can learn to access our chakras, it opens up a whole new world for us. So let's get started. Some basic information. The color red, each chakra has a color that coordinates with it. And in fact, it's the same color as the rainbow. So Roy G. Bibb, red, orange, yellow, heart's green, fifth is sky blue, indigo for the sixth, and violet for the seventh. So if you're ever trying to remember what color a chakra is, you can always look at the rainbow spectrum. So we're talking about first chakra. It is a ball of energy, and again, you can go to that overview video on chakras to kind of see what they mean if you've never learned about chakras before. You can also look it up. There's lots and lots of good information out there if you want to dive deeper into any of this. It is a ball of energy, and the first one is found at the base of the spine. So they run all the way up and down the body, kind of in the middle of the body. And the first one is about grounding, being in our body, being present in this moment, not in the past, not in the future. It's also very basic needs. So do I have enough food to eat? Do I have a safe and warm place to live? Am I feeling safe in my body? For example, if we are in a relationship that's abusive, then that would be first chakra issues. Now, not only is the information found in the chakra, but we can also do healing with that. And physical follows energy. So if we can get the energy healed up and flowing and balanced, then often the physical world will start to shift as well. So it's a great place to go if you want healing, because otherwise we're just beating our head against the wall on those old patterns that need to be released and healed. And, if you can do it another way, great. But if your way ain't working, you might want to look at the energy and specifically maybe start with the chakras. They're a great place to start. What else can we talk about the first chakra? I always think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's a triangle. I'll put the word down in the description below so that you can see the spelling of it. Most nurses, social workers, and many people who study psychology in academia will learn about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And basically his premise is if there are basic needs aren't met as a human, then we can't, which is like I'm doing this because there's a pyramid. You'll see it as a pyramid, and there's different levels and layers. And so the bottom level would be very basic needs, food, shelter, and so on. And then you build up until the upper layers are more of the visionary, creative. So the thought is it's really hard to write a poem if you're hungry. So when we're looking at humanity and helping humanity, we want to make sure that those levels are all addressed. Otherwise, if we're upset with a student because they're not studying, they're not focused, we might want to step back and say, what's going on in their home life? Are they living in a car? Are they hungry? And those needs absolutely must be addressed before we can go up to those higher levels. And it's interesting to lay Maslow's hierarchy of needs up against chakras because they just go hand in hand. So it's the same kind of thing. In the intro video, I mentioned that the upper chakras are not more important than the lower chakras and vice versa because they're all important. You want to find a balance. You want to get them all healed up and moving as they should and balanced with each other. So, but the first chakra is all about those basic needs. And they also say that each chakra is a 7-year span of the human life. So first chakra would be the first 7 years of life. So think about a child in those first 7 years. What things are they going through? Very basic. They cry as an infant. They're hungry. They're wet. Basic needs. And those needs need to be met. So let's say I come from an abuse history and, and I'm having issues as an adult because of that. I literally can go to my first chakra and get information about that and also do healing on that level or go to a healer and have them do healing on my first chakra to address some of those issues. Let's see, what else do I want to say about the first chakra? So it's also grounding. When we talk about grounding, it's very much about being present and just getting slow and quiet and feeling very connected to the earth, hence the word ground. And if we do not have that foundational energy of being grounded, then a lot of what we do in life is not solid in this present moment. And so we're just spinning our wheels, or we're, just all over the place, and we're not in our body connected to the ground. So a lot of grounding meditations that we do will be centered around this first chakra because that's the issue of the first chakra. I think, is there anything else I want to say? Color. There's also notes of the scale. There's 7 notes in a scale, and each note is associated with the chakras. That's not my forte, so I'm not going to get into that, but I know that exists. So if you're a musician and you really want to take a look at which notes are for which chakras, that is there too. You can also do food. For example, red food. And because we're talking about grounding, we can also look at things like protein, which is, really brings us in our body, slows our vibration, brings us in a more, I keep wanting to use the word grounded to express what grounded is, which doesn't work. Let's do meditation, and I'll let you feel what I'm talking about if you haven't done a grounding meditation before. So go ahead and get in a comfortable position. You can sit down, you can lay down, grab a blankie. If you want to set up a nice table with a candle or something that's meaningful to you, you can go all out, whatever works for you. You can pause this video, grab your stuff. I also would recommend that you get a journal or notebook of some kind. I really like to have a designated notebook just for like my spiritual practice stuff, because I do a lot of journey work and meditation where I'm going to chakras and getting information, going to my guides, getting information. And so it really helps when I come back and jot those things down. For my eyes only, nobody gets to read that, but I can go back and read it, get clarity, write some more. So if you haven't done that kind of a thing, I would really recommend it. It helps our brain to process the experience. And like I said, you can come back to it later and say, what was that thing that I learned or I heard? And that journal will be very helpful. So go grab that and we'll get started. I'm going to say, because I don't want to end with this, that if you are looking for a private session, you can contact me. That is found on my website, Intuitive Explorations with Susan Fullmer. I also run online classes, and if you would like to get on that email list, you can find my email on my website as well. And I always say, it doesn't have to be me. If you are feeling drawn for healing and a name keeps coming to you, or you know a good healer and they do a great job, then please go to them. It's about healing us, healing the planet, and there's abundance. There's plenty for all, whatever we need. All right, let's do a meditation. So this will be a bit of a combination. I want to do some grounding, And then I want to do journey work to the chakra and get some info. So let's start with grounding meditation. And frankly, whenever I do anything, whether it be, if I'm doing a private session with somebody, reading, healing, if I'm leading, facilitating some kind of ceremony or retreat, if I am teaching a class, if I'm walking out the door, in the morning before I get out of bed, I set up what I call sacred space. And that's where I'm calling in all of my helpers, so that I'm very present, I'm very grounded, I'm cleared, I'm protected. And within that container, I can do X, Y, Z, whatever that is, including get out of bed and start my day. So I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but the one component that is so critical, in fact, I say three things, and it's like a three-legged stool. If you've ever sat on one, you take one away and you are on the floor. So they're all three equally as important. And that's clearing, grounding, and protection. In any order that intuitively comes to me, I will make sure those three things are happening. So grounding is the one we're going to pay attention to in this video. Critically important. And if I am feeling spacey and I'm trying to do something, especially like with my brain and I'm just like all over the place, or I'm going to have a hard conversation, I will make sure I am grounded. There are many wonderful grounding meditations out there. So find one that works for you. I like to change it up and try different things, but let's just jump in and we'll see what comes out of my mouth for this one. In general, we are connecting to the earth. So that's our intention when we're doing a grounding meditation. And I will definitely include the first chakra in this one because we are talking about the first chakra. All right. So as always, I like to start with the breath. It's a great way to come center. So breathing any way that's comfortable for you. I like in the nose and out the mouth. The point is a nice, slow, comfortable, deep breath in. Hold for a moment. And out. It's nice to hold that breath coming in for just a moment, because what that does is it really oxygenates the body, gives the lungs and blood a chance to switch over and sending that oxygen through the bloodstream and out. So comfortable, don't force anything or be uncomfortable about this. And even the breath is starting to ground me, just focusing on my breathing. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. My voice is already dropping. So when somebody's grounded, their voice tends to go deeper. It's a slower, deeper vibration. And I can just feel the energy just sort of sinking down in a really nice way, just sort of landing to be here present. So I'm just setting aside everything else in my life, all the stuff that's happening. I'm going to pick all that up when I'm done here. But right now, I'm just going to set that aside and focus on my breath. And I want you to think about the earth. And we all have a different relationship with the earth. It may be really wonderful and we love it. It may be non-existent. It may be uncomfortable. Maybe we didn't have good experiences camping or hiking or whatever. So no judgment, just observe. When you think of the earth, what comes to mind? And is there a place somewhere in the earth, either somewhere you go to all the time, somewhere you haven't been to since you were a kid, maybe it doesn't even exist anymore, like your grandmother's garden or something, but or you can make something up, like you like to be deep in the ocean, just somewhere, and the water counts as earth. So somewhere in nature, land or water, just feel yourself there. And nice deep breath. So it should be a place that feels safe and comfortable to you. And if you need to call in a little bit of protection or help or any kind of connection that you feel, deity, that feels safe to you. You can call that in too. But just see yourself in that place of nature, breathing, connecting. Maybe even consider the idea that Mother Earth is a sentient being. What? If that's a new thought to you, just explore that a little bit. What would happen if in your mind you reached out to her and said, hello, my name is Susan. Do you have a message for me? And then sitting very quietly and breathing and letting that happen. How's that for grounding? And then just letting Mother Earth know, I'm here exploring my first chakra. Will you help me with this? And then see what comes back to you. Breathe that in. You might even smell nature, like forest floor or the ocean, the salty sea, anything, your garden as you're digging in that beautiful, rich brown soil. Bring in all your senses. Can you hear the birds sing? And let all of that bring us present in this moment and very in our bodies and very grounded. Now, if you want to pause the video and take that even deeper, go for it, either now or later. This exploration with Mother Earth is divine and precious and so healing. Mother Earth is healing. And, she's all about hearth and home. Again, that first chakra, safety. So if we didn't all have that great of a childhood where we felt all those things, we can feel that now with Mother Earth, which in and of itself is so healing because we can feel it. We can experience it. We can take that child to Mother Earth in her beautiful hearth and home of warmth and safety and love. And I'm talking the perfect conditional love that we all hoped for and probably all felt short of because we're humans and we had human parents. So this is the place to feel that love and just let it come in through your breath and let it fill every cell of your body. It's like a warm hug. Thank you, Mother. And now let's turn to our first chakra. Again, it's a ball of energy. The color is red, and it's the base of our spine. So let's just kind of do a little mini me and think in our mind about sending that me that's really small and tiny down to the base of my spine. And I'm looking around, and we all sense energy differently. So maybe we can smell it or touch it or see it or sense it somehow, or any way that comes to you. And maybe you're not getting any of that, and that's okay too. Just go along for the ride with the intention of seeing what's there in the first chakra and let go of expectations, what it might be like, what you might see, how you will experience it. I really challenge you to just let that go and just go with the intention of getting information from your first chakra and see what happens. So going down there, again with our intention set, and we're breathing deep into that slower vibration that's connected to Mother Earth. And you can just feel our first chakra is just enveloped and held by Mother Earth in such a loving way. Breathe that. Sometimes you can send cords down from your base chakra, this first chakra, down into Mother Earth, whatever works for you. Sometimes I just see myself in the ocean, sand, on a warm day, and I'm just digging my toes and my feet into the sand and feeling connected that way. Or I'm going down into a lake or something. Whatever works. Nature, Mother Earth, first chakra. And just let that energy blend, which creates healing in and of itself. And now let's take a question of the first chakra. So we'll just keep it simple, although you could go with a very specific question like, why don't I ever want to go home for the holidays, right? We're going to make it simple this time around, but you can go back as many times as you want and ask your chakras anything you want. So this one we're going to say, do you have a message for me, right? So how are you experiencing, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much again, you can turn the video off and just go deep with yourself. But a nice deep breath, sensing the chakra somehow. You might even want to step into the chakra if that feels comfortable to you. And sense it, like, is the color red? Is it red? Is the red vibrant and healthy? Is it sort of washed out? Is it really intense and struggling? If you just kind of sense it with your intuition, then sometimes these things will have a story to them. What you see or what you sense, there may be a whole story there if you just stop for a minute. And again, I'm talking. So please turn me off at some point and just go in there and sense what is going on here. What am I sensing? And then ask the question, do you have a message for me? And then get very quiet. And again, me talking is not the best time to be, conversing with your first chakra. But you can turn me off and sit quiet with that and just see what comes back to you. And maybe it's words, maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a sensation in your body somewhere. Maybe it's just this knowing that kind of downloads into your brain like, oh, that's the story you're trying to tell me. So I truly encourage you to introduce yourself to your first chakra. I would also encourage you to sort of get in, do the work, and get back out again. Write it down. Sit with it. And maybe the next day you can go again. But sometimes too much information is too much. And we need time to process what we're getting. Even if it seems like it's a very simple answer, like, you are loved. What does that mean? So just sit with it and write it down. And then maybe a day or two from now, you may have an additional thought that goes with that. Write that down. All right, all. Be well. Have fun exploring your first chakra. There's so many wonderful things there.